So we're going to go back to the green here on the 77. Right now, Jaden Rogers, the number 14, is currently your quickest in this session at 12.923. Brandon Maddox was second quick. You talked about him dangling the front tires there. He's definitely getting the power to the ground.
He is. He's getting all 410 cubic inches to those rear wheels. We'll watch Brandon Maddox come out at turn number 2 here and see if he picks up that front end. It's turn 4 where we usually get a little more of the wheel stands. Cars kind of diming it off. Brandon keeps front end down there, but looks good in car number 28.
So now we'll start to click off some laps here. White flag coming out on this. CJ Leary, top of the field, 12.705 for Leary. Jaden Rogers bumped down to second quick. Ryan Thomas looking pretty stout. He talked about the ones getting a hold of the racetrack, and he's been fighting wheelie conditions with the 77 car. So he heads down into turn number 3, but right now he sits atop the field. My goodness gracious. It's Ryan Thomas, the 77 FR, that blue 77 car on the back chute, went a 12.439. He is only 0.2 off the track record. CJ Leary, second quick in the 77. Jaden Rogers, Matt Westfall, your top 4. Then Brandon Maddox, Ivan Glotzbach, Blake Vermillion, Colin Ambrose, Eric Gentry. The remainder of the field, Chase Dawson, unfortunately not able to turn a lap out there, but is in that group.
That was a good run there for Ryan, and he's a regular here with us on Saturday nights, and sometimes you wonder what the evening of a playing field is. Well, we got a lot of drivers that are here with us on Saturday nights. We do group qualifying on our normal Saturdays, and he hit that lap perfectly. Here comes his teammate. Oh, no, they're the 77s, not a teammate, I'm sorry. But here comes Travis Berryhill in the Tyler Sturgeon Motorsports number 77. He's finished runner-up in the points here at Lincoln Park Speedway. A preliminary night winner at the Chili Bowl back in about 2015.
Yeah, Berryhill, well known in the midget ranks, raced in just about every major midget series, and at least a couple times. He's run with Boss, Moa, Civil War series out on the West Coast. 3R going to be fun to watch. Cal Cummins coming up here to race with us. Princeton, Indiana racer and Rocksteady Racing number 3R, 5-time MSCS Sprint Car champ. So we've seen him out on the road with the Amsoil USAC National Sprint Cars quite a few times this year.
He's already picked up over 30 wins with the MSCS Series and was a winner here earlier this year. So he's already found Lincoln Park Speedway victory lane. Then the opposite happened a couple of weeks later when he came back, struggled all night long. I know on the night that he won, they basically threw out all their notes from the past couple of years and went back to the super basic setup. He said he needed a setup where he knew that he could feel the car. He wanted to be more comfortable in the car, and it paid dividends that night. He's also won a night of the Bill Gardner Sprintacular as Kyle Cummins.
So definitely one for your dirt draft. If you're playing the old dirt draft fantasy dirt track racing, you need to pay attention to these qualifying runs out here with 58 cars. It's going to be tough for you to pick. Group C, right now, Mitchell Moles, the 19AZ car, should be pushing off and coming out here and joining us. AME Electrical Ride, the 77 AJ Hopkins, Travis Berryhill in the 77S is how he'll be scored. Braden Fox is in the 53. We talked about Kyle Cummins in the 3R. Michael Clark's behind the wheel of the number 8 car out there idling around the racetrack. And then the 77 AU, Todd Hobson. Tony Helton's in the 87 and 15 of Carson Garrett. And the 27 of Cody Trammell, all in Group C or Heat 3.
You know, it's hard to find a heat that you see goes, this one will be a little bit easier, and that is not the case with this heat race number 3 or group qualifying 3. Several track champs out here. 2-time defending champion A.J. Hopkins is there in the orange 77. This is a good group. Braden Fox so hungry to get that first win. Really neat to see his grandpa get into the USAC Hall of Fame, and very deserved last night. And Galen Fox.
And I believe a little article and some photos were put out by Richie Murray. Just posted that on the USAC social media. You can check that little honorary thing we did last night in Victory Lane at IRP.
Keep an eye on Mitchell Moles there in the number 19. Look at him pick up that front end. Got the right front way up as he came out in turn number 2.
Well, Mitchell Moles, one of those California runners, used to going elbows up out there in the outlaw carts and everything else, not afraid to throttle around. Unfortunately, Michael Clark pulls to the infield. The number 8 car will retire out of this qualifying session, but does not bring out the caution flag. So tip of the cap to Michael on that one. So the white flag comes out. Cal Cummins currently your quickest, the 12.694 lap time. Braden Fox second quick in the number 53. This checkered flag about to flutter about. We'll see how this one finishes off.
Well, no doubt. You can see right there, Kyle Cummins has been your quickest up to this point. I believe everybody's now made it through. Kyle Cummins continues to be impressive here at Lincoln Park Speedway. And Chet, I believe he's going to be your quickest.
Yeah, he does indeed, or is indeed. 12.577 for Kyle Cummins. 3R car atop the stack. Braden Fox, the 53 second quick. A.J. Hopkins, 77, one of our 77s that are out there. He finishes third in qualifying. Carson Garrett, the number 15, followed by Mitchell Moles in the 19 AZ. Then it's Travis Berryhill, Todd Hobson, Cody Trammell, Tony Helton, and Michael Clark had pulled to the infield, unfortunately. Not able to put a lap in there for the number 8 car, but that's how we wind up. Group number C. Group 4 rolling out to the racetrack as we speak. Group 4 of 6. Let's bring him out here. I believe that's going to be the 27, Evan Mosley. Rolling down onto the racing surface. Mosley, racer out of LaPel, Indiana. Third-generation racer. Former Harf Rookie of the Year.
Cole Bodine in car number 57.
9Z just behind him, Zach Pretorius. Pretorius, as you mentioned, marking his third year behind the wheel of a sprint car, but actually was a former Gas City Sprint Car Rookie of the Year. His first year out was very impressive up there and looks very good getting around that. But a lot of kart championships for Zach. He was a hot shoe on the old pavement road courses.
You know, we have several that come here tonight. Gabriel Gilbert, who will be out in the number 10, was a several-time karting champ as well out there at the very fast track out just west or east of Greenfield. That place, those guys are lightning quick. A lot of your IndyCar drivers there and drivers that are working their way up. So if you win a championship there, you've done a lot. Speaking of a lot of championships and doing a lot, how number 4 is doing awfully well again this year.
He is indeed. Kevin Thomas Jr. back with us again, the 15K car down here on the front straightaway. Good-looking race cars there on that team as well. Just behind him, Justin Grant, NOS Energy Drink number 4, the Ione, California racer. And then there's that 2E you were talking about earlier on with Taima Hako behind the wheel. Also out on the racetrack, we'll have Kyle Shipley, the 17 GP. Jesse Vermillion behind the wheel of the 5V. Trey Mailer in the 5A. And then Max Adams, the number 17, should be out here with us as well. So they're all slated to come out here in Group D or Heat 4 for a qualifying run. Heat 4 of 6 with 58 cars checked in. So get themselves spread out a little bit, a little room to roam here in this qualifying. Again, just qualifying against the group here tonight. So Cole Bodine, Rossville, Indiana racer, 57B car. Idling out 2. Remember back whenever he, Zeb Wise broke a collarbone, I think it was, and he hopped behind the wheel of the midget and was out at Sweet Springs, Missouri, and just a tremendous run out there. And that was kind of the first time that a lot of the people took notice of Cole Bodine, but another one of those that not only good driver, very good crew guy as well, knows a lot about his race car and how to work on his race car, and I think that goes a long way in this day and age.
It sure does. And we saw the number 2 at Chase Johnson is able to get back out and has refired the Avante car, but he is heading back to the pit area. He was supposed to be in Group 1, but for Chase Johnson fans, good news, at least whatever the problem was, it made it so he could not be in group qualifying session 1. He has got things going.
So again, we'll tag the tail of his heat race, but here comes the green flag. We throttle him up, cut him loose. Max Adams, first one to take the green. The number 17 car working out, turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. And again, the tough part, as we talked about it, Brad, in your group qualifying, don't want to get yourself stacked up behind somebody.
Yeah, we saw that. A couple cars did not want to take off. Kevin Thomas Jr. there, almost a bobble in turn 4. Well, it was a bobble, but he was able to keep it going.
Send him on across right now. Taima Hako, the 2E, is quickest so far. Kevin Thomas Jr. second quick, Justin Grant. There goes Pretorius to the top of the field.
He's picked up several quick qualifying times this year here and up at his home track at Gas City as well. See if he can hold on to that, though, with the checker flag coming out, and it just changed. It changed again.
Yep.
We'll see how it finishes out.
Got to be stout. You got to be stout every lap getting around here because they continue to lower the times. And Justin Grant is going to be a quick qualifier out of Group D. 12.635 lap time for Justin Grant. Evan Mosley goes second quick. Kevin Thomas Jr. third quick. Pretorius bumped down to fourth quick. Ty Mahako rounds out the top 5 in the 2E car. Then it was Bodine, Shipley in the 17 GP, Max Adams, Jesse Vermillion, and Trace Mailer. Am I saying that correctly?
I believe you are.
I am. Got lucky. Even blind squirrels find nuts in the woods.
It's like me hitting a 5-foot putt. Doesn't happen very often.
That takes into heat race number 5, or Group E. Getting set to roll out onto the racetrack.
So 6 groups total, and then we'll get into our modifieds.
Again, setting our heat race lineup here tonight. Top 3, you said, will advance out of the heats, and then everybody else kind of filters down through everything through a D main. A D main, unbelievable to have a D main. You don't hear that very often these days.
No, it's a big car count tonight. Well, there's your Bolton Spine, car number 36, your most decorated feature winner in USAC competition in sprint cars. How about it, race fans? Dave Darlin. Darlin in car number 36 has been very good here. It's nice to have him back. Of course, had the health issue last year. He's already put together a couple of top 3 runs here. He's also run well up at Gas City and Kokomo. He's got a busy weekend here. Has a former Kokomo track champ turning the wrenches. Mike Mann takes care of the car for him, and Mike himself was heavy on the right throttle in that beautiful red number 37 most years. And so a lot of racing heritage there with Dave Darlin getting some help from Mike Mann.
Other cars out on the racetrack. The 16K Kobe Barksdale making his way down into turn number 1. The 19 WI Derek Crane coming around. We talked about him earlier on. Just put a 410 underneath the hood. Not a lot of 410 starts for him, but a very, very good shoe with the Wisconsin Wingless Series, which is an incredible series that runs up, obviously, in Wisconsin, but they get really big car counts with that, too, like 35 to 40 on a weekly basis for them. So that's kind of impressive.
On the track, there is the 34 of Sterling Kling. Sterling Kling there in the number 34 out of Tempe, Arizona. We talk about some of the different crew chiefs. Jeff Walker, a longtime Indiana racer, both wing and non-wing, as the guy that has helped been teaching the number 34 the past 2 or 3 years. So Sterling Kling in the 34 under the tutelage of Jeff Walker.
Last year's Bloomington and Lincoln Park Rookie of the Year, Gabriel Gilbert in a 10G car, joins us out here in this heat race number 5, or Group E. So I should say the Gabriel Gilbert Racing number 10G car out on the racetrack.
He was the one I was speaking of that had such great success in karting as well. So he's comes with several national titles in the karts. Just graduated from high school to Gabriel, and he's already got his real estate license, working in the real estate business.
There you go. The bad man Robert Ballou joins us, the number 12. I know he has some merchandise and apparel for sale out behind the main grandstand area. And who do we miss? Brian Hayden in the 2H is out here.
There's Sydney Chambers, a former Harf Rookie of the Year in car number 18. She worked her way up through the mini sprints, who we'll see here tomorrow night as part of the USAC night, along with the Wing 305s.
Yeah, finished inside the top 10 in MSCS points last year. I believe a 9th place finish for her in the point standings for Chambers in the 18C. So we get set to go here on this Group E. So heat 5 of 6. We're coming to green, getting ready to wind them up. Cut them loose. Go, go, go. A little frustrating. You're driving a sprint car out here and the guy in front of you is going a little bit slow. You can't really stop. You can't push the clutch in and coast. You're stuck with as slow as you can go as an idle.
Love the camera look from Flo there down the backstretch at Lincoln Park Speedway. There's Sterling Kling in the Sterling Kling Racing 34. Brian Hayden, you were just speaking of him, Chet, 2-time sprint car champion here at Lincoln Park Speedway. Early in his career, he drove the non-wing cars to a couple top 5 finishes in USAC national points.
Well, it's hard to believe. Picked up Rookie of the Year honors in a sprint car here back in 1990.
I know, and I saw that.
Loud.
Well,
Wow.
Dave Darlin, who's out in this group, won his first race here in the mid-'80s.
Unbelievable.
And they're still going strong.
Checkered flag coming out. Robert Ballou looks like he's going to be quickest out of this session at 12.771. So it will, in fact, be Ballou quickest. Sterling Kling second quick at 12.952. Dave Darland third quick with a 12.975. Then Brian Hayden, a 2H, fourth quick. And Gabriel Gilbert rounding out the top five. Colby Barksdale, Cindy Chambers, Derek Crane, Brandon Smith. Your 9 cars were out in this group.
How about that? Robert Ballou, your quickest qualifier. I wonder if he likes group qualifying better than individual car qualifying. You know, Christie's interviewed him many times after he's picked up a heat race win, and he'll be the first to tell you, I hate qualifying. I'm not a good qualifier, but I know on several occasions with group qualifying, maybe the 4 laps, having other cars around him, whatever it is, he's been able to pick up a quick qualifier for that heat race.
And we had that discussion this week. We talk about C.J. Leary. C.J. Leary doesn't need the carrot on the stick to chase. He's a good qualifier without it. Ballou needs the carrot to qualify well. Definitely a better race is better than he qualifies. I guess how we're going to put that.
And hasn't he raced well this year? He has run well, has Robert and C.J. as well.
True story. Bring out our next group. Going to be Matt McDonald in the 5 MC cars. He's being scored down in turn number 1. Just behind him, Hunter Maddox in the number 24M.
Hunter, one of our young stars in this sport out of Bloomington, making his way up in that number 24, has really been impressive this year.
Alex Benalis in the 5X car makes his way down to front chute, and unfortunately got out the Eastern Storm and absolutely destroyed a race car out there. And that ended his Eastern Storm, but he's back in action again with us here in the Midwest.
Shane Cottle in the number 74. Shane has been a Bill Gardner Sprintacular winner and a many-time winner here at Lincoln Park Speedway. Even in the regional midgets, modifieds, and mini sprints, 4 different classes, Shane Cottle has won a feature here at Lincoln Park Speedway.
Looks like 24M. Hunter Maddox going to head off the racetrack there on the back chute for whatever reason. There's the Macho Man, Brady Bacon, the number 69. Your defending AMSOIL USAC National Sprint Car champ has got himself 4 feature event wins on the season. I'm sure he'd like to add another feather to his cap here tonight.
Jake Swanson in the Damming Excavating car number 5. Jake comes with 1 win at Lincoln Park Speedway already this year. And well, it seemed like last year, when was he going to get that first win? And it was so neat to see him pick it up with USAC at the end of the year. Much deserved. He's been great in the sprint cars and maybe even equally as great in the Silver Crown cars.
Yeah, and it was out there in front of the hometown crowd, too, for all intents and purposes. But it's interesting for me to see him behind the wheel of the 5T car out here. That's a local car. He runs this at local shows. It's not his national car, but a very, very fast race car at this racetrack with a very fast race car behind, or race driver behind the wheel.
Alex Sipes in the number 99. Had a really good year this year, one of our most improved drivers so far in 2022.
Harley Burns behind the wheel of the number 16 should be out here, and then Ryan Bond, the 7R, the Carpenter.
Now, Harley picked up his very first win last weekend. He's been close here at Lincoln Park Speedway. Been like a second-generation driver. His father, Eric, always did very well, a former track champ here. There it is, the Brett Arrow car, and really took a tough tumble. And had DRC get that car back together for him. Comes, and you guys did a special on him, or last year, especially comes in a school bus to bring his sprint car to the racetrack.
Yeah, a very, very neat hauler back there. You know, you were talking about Harley Burns, and the interesting thing about him, he went all in this year. He had his very first all-new race car. He had a brand-new race car for the 2022 season. First time ever he had that, and obviously it's working out well for him.
It is. The cars that he's driven before have all been chassis that were older than he was. So we're talking about chassis that were like 18 to 20 years old. They were old cars, but boy, he always runs the wheel off of them and runs well up top. But he's expanded his game in Indiana State University Junior. He's an engineering student, and he also owns his own lawn mowing and landscaping company.
And he'll give you a tour of the bus.
Yes, he will.
He's very, very proud of that. As well he should be. It's a cool hauler. So throttle them up, cut them loose. This is your final qualifying session coming out here for the MSCS Sprint Cars. It's getting a little tricky to get out turn number 4, Brad. They're getting a little tight coming out of that corner.
They are, and we talked about this. Oh, Alex Benalis is trying to get out of that corner. Whoa, my. He's done a big wheel stand. There's Brady Bacon. We talked about this down at the Bloomington Speedway several weeks ago. We were only about halfway up the track. We clearly are about 10 feet, 12 feet short of where the normal Lincoln Park Speedway berm is in turn number 4 that's always been built up. that'll go as the night goes along. We'll keep scooting it up.
Well, that's the thing, too. We got the modifieds coming out here with us. They've definitely moved a lot of sod. They'll sling it up there across the racetrack. But, yeah, still plenty of cars come out and kind of move that up as the night goes on. Chicago quickest out of this group. You called it earlier on. 74X going to be one to watch here tonight.
He never left the bottom inch of the track. I mean, he was right as close as you could get to the tires all the way around.
Yeah, just cranked off a 12.633 for Cottle. So Shane Cottle is going to be your #1 qualifier out of this final group. Brady Bacon second quick. Jake Swanson, the 5T car, third quick. Harley Burns, Alex Sipes, your top 5. Then Matt McDonald, Alex Benalis, Ryan Bond, rounding out these top ones. Then Hunter Maddox was out here. 24M returned to the pits. He'll have to start tail of the field. And that's going to do it for our sprint car qualifying.
Yeah, we'll get group qualifying out for our other sessions too, Chet, and then we'll get into some pre-race ceremonies, some awards from the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, and then also, of course, a tribute to the Bill Gardner Sprintacular. Modifieds getting ready to make their way out. They're in the lineup chute. We'll switch mics here, and Pat Sullivan joins me. And Pat, good to have you here as always.
You betcha. Modified's got a pretty good points battle going on here at Lincoln Park Speedway. Rob Bricker just a 3-point bulge over Tyler Lockmiller, a former track champion here. Cody Wright within striking distance. And Will Bennett has put a couple wins in the resume this year. It rounds out your top 5.
So we will have 2 heats, as we were just discussing. Group qualifying will help us set it up. 18 modifieds have joined us. A little bit of a different night for our divisions in the modified super stocks and bombers, in that we are normally a Saturday night racetrack. Tonight is our point night for our drivers, and our modifieds are here with us tonight. So I would anticipate a few drivers might have found it hard in a working situation to get here on this Friday night. Hopefully on this holiday weekend it smooth things up a little bit. A winner this year already, Matt Mitchell in the 2M, and he's always awfully strong.
Yeah, Matt Mitchell's been successful on a couple of occasions this year. Jake Leachman from Paragon in car number 2. There's the 44 machine.
Yep, Andy Shirley out of Sheridan, Indiana. I was incorrect in saying Matt Mitchell. We've got 3 red number 2s on most of our Saturday nights, and I just happened to glance up and see the number 2, but it was, as Pat alluded to, Jake Leachman there in the 2ND, the second car, a.k.a. the Rooster, as he was called by his grandfather growing up. Brent Hudson in the 2B out of Terre Haute, Indiana. There's the 148 out of Caruthersville, Indiana. That's Brent Lee. Brent Lee in the 148 and the 14R from Worthington. That's RT Gamble.
RT Gamble, a regular here at Lincoln Park Speedway. Cody Wright's also been in the top 5 this year in series points. Jerry Bland Jr. in this 711B from Anderson, Indiana. Pretty sort of purple and yellow machine.
Dickie's son has been.
Derek Losh been in victory lane a couple of times this year in modified competition. Your current point leader, Rob Bricker, the winner back here in the middle of April. We mentioned that Will Bennett went back-to-back on the 28th of May, then on the 4th of June. Jordan Weaver is your current UMP Indiana point leader. He was victorious here back on the 18th. And Matt Mitchell, we introduced him a little bit earlier, but he was a winner here on the 25th. Will Bennett, by the way, has won 3 times this year in the modifieds. Tyler Lockmiller very much in the title chase at Lincoln Park Speedway. Right now, a winner here on the 23rd of April. He's 3rd overall in UMP Indiana modified points. Weaver, Derek Groomer, Tyler Lockmiller, Jake Leitzman, and Cody Wright. Rob Brickert in the 6th position. So well represented tonight here at Lincoln Park Speedway, those in the Indiana UMP points chase.
Ethan Barrows sporting the new fast look. That's good. Will you be here tomorrow night, I'm assuming, Ethan? Okay.
He's doing some carbohydrate loading right now.
Yes, he is. Working on making sure we're having a little trouble getting the transponders to pick up. So I know you, just like us, are ready to go green, waiting on making sure that all the transponders, we have a little bit of a technical issue with that. Things were fine for the MSCS cars as we switched systems over. We have not been able to get them to switch over, so that's the reason for a little bit of a delay here.
You know, we mentioned this a time or two over the course of the year, but you know, the original IMCA type modified was introduced largely by Keith Knack, the editor of Hawkeye Racing News out of Vinton, Iowa. Built a couple of prototype cars, and one of those was campaigned at the now long defunct Riverside Stadium in North Kansas City by Buzz Castor, whose family was very much involved in Kansas City racing, and a variety of drivers quickly came on. Bobby Lane, who had good success as a sprint car driver, had sort of a Vega station wagon or hatchback that he dominated with in the early going. And it was a very different situation with the claim being a big part of it, to claim an engine. If not, you forfeited your points. But the modifieds themselves, as is so after the case, evolved into very different kinds of racetrack cars, and they take on a little bit different characteristic no matter where you go. But we're seen at the time as a, if you will, a sort of low-cost alternative to a late model.
And how long does low cost stay in the form of racing, Pat?
As soon as someone goes faster than somebody else.
You know, I was at my brother's up in Michigan last weekend, and he and I were reminiscing about some of our early days at going to the racetrack with my dad and things. And we were talking about Lawrenceburg and the bounty, as you just, and the claim. Yes. And how often that happened with Kerry Norris and his great success, both in the sprint cars and then the modifieds, typically the Orange 5N.
Right.
Also very well known for his open wheel cover shot when the car basically exploded out at the Eldora Speedway.
Yeah, Dave Norris spent some times also in racing in places like the Speedway in Columbus, Indiana. And Kerry, as you mentioned, probably had a top 20 finish in the the World of Outlaw points at one point early in his career, but had some real dominating runs in the modifieds. We've had a lot of drivers, Brady Short, Shane Cottle, etc., who spent some time in the modifieds. They will tell you that in some cases they're much harder to drive. Little wheel, a lot of power, lightweight. They can be a handful.
Speaking of Shane Cottle, as Chet and I were talking, I believe that was off the air, but Shane Cottle, a winner here in 4 different divisions at Lincoln Park. One in a regional midget, one in a mini sprint, one in a modified, and of course has won multiple times in the sprint car.
Yeah,
and I wonder a little bit, has he picked up a regular USAC win here in a midget?
Oh,
I know he won the regional midgets here. We'll have to check that. Yeah. But at least 4 divisions. Probably the only other one that could lay claim to that would be Kenny Carmichael, who has picked up multiple championships and wins.
Well, Shane had that wonderful win on a night in which it was a last-minute decision to come to Lincoln Park Speedway. He continues to run incredibly well. He seems to just keep chucking along, does Shane, no matter what he does. Again, we're trying to get this situation straightened out.
Well, we're changing.